Hi, I'm Pattu from FreeFinCal, and yes, I think that most of you watching this are not investing enough for retirement. Probably because you have never considered retirement planning to be important. You think it's too far away. You never used a retirement calculator before, or because of many other reasons, some of which beyond your control, some of which can be controlled, and most often temporary, as I'll explain. You're not investing enough for retirement. So what I like to do is to take you through a simple retirement calculation and point out how important it is to look at the amount that you need to invest each month for retirement as a percentage of how much you are actually spending each month. So let's go through this calculator. This was made a few years ago, maybe 2013 or something, but still quite valid. So you have about 10 inputs. All the yellow cells are inputs, and the final answer is here. This is the final answer. We will play around with this and understand how it works. So let's go through each input. So let's start with the first one. The anticipated post-retirement rate of interest. Well, this is an unconventional initial input, but I thought I'll start with that. So this is like saying after you retire, and you're going to get an income, right? Some of it is going to be a pension, it's going to be an annuity, some of it will be from your investments. What is the rate of retirement, the post rate of interest after retirement, and I've set this at 8%. This is 8% after tax on the entire portfolio. I'm assuming that at least 40 to 50% of the portfolio will be in equity even after retirement, and the rest will be in fixed income. In addition, you may get some pension, you may get some rental income, whatever, and so on. This is a very let me again remind you, this is a very rough estimate of retirement planning. If you want a proper estimate, you will have to use my robo advisory template. I will link that. So let's keep that in mind. It's just a ballpark estimate to give you a thumb rule for investing. So I'm going to assume that after retirement, after paying taxes, the return on your entire portfolio will be 8%. This may be on the higher side because it's better to play it safe, but let's work with 8% and then maybe we can lower it down and see what happens. Now take your annual expenses and divide it by 12, and that's about 40,000. This 40,000 means these are the expenses that will last until your lifetime or the lifetime of your spouse if she or he is younger than you. So which means that essential expenses, right? So food, some basic clothing expenses, medicines, some little bit of travel, what else? Cable TV expenses, mobile expenses. What else is essential today? Well, that's about it, right? I mean, you can add more. So that's about 40,000. I've said this is only for. You can say this is for the two of you. That is for you and your spouse. You can remove the children. You can say that children will be independent. You don't need to worry. You don't need to include the EMI here. You don't need to include the school fees here. You don't need to worry about the college fees here. Nothing. It's just the expenses for you and your wife currently. I've kept it at 40,000. It could be more or less. There are many problems to this because you can't lower it down because suddenly if your phone breaks, you have to buy another one. So you need an emergency fund in addition to this. So it's better to, that's not factored into this calculation. So better to keep it a little higher. So 40,000 is reasonable, I think, for a metro city for two people. For what can I say? Decent lifestyle, if not extravagant lifestyle. If it is extravagant, you have to invest more, obviously. Middle class, upper middle class kind of lifestyle, 40,000 is pretty decent. Number of years you expect to work, so you expect to work for the next 25 years, let's say. You can change it, but put it at 25. Do not assume that you will work until 60 years. Do not assume that you will work until 55 years. If you're in corporate, assume that you will retire by 50. So if you are 30 years old and you're watching this video, I'm going to set this at 20. Don't assume that you'll retire at 60. It's a big mistake. This is the reason why I keep saying the National Pension Scheme is a useless product. I'll talk about that later. I wanted to talk about this video first, so I'm making this first. Now, inflation in the expenses entered above throughout your lifetime. Many people say 8% is too much. They say, no, India will become a developed country, it will be 6%, 4%, 5%, and so on. Please recognize that whatever numbers the government is publishing and whatever numbers that's there in your real life, there's a big discrepancy. And please recognize it's not just inflation in your current expenses. Suddenly your recurring expenses will increase because of medicines, because of need to go to a doctor, and so on. So it's better to err on the side of caution and assume it's 8%. You will get nice results if you get 6%. I'll show you, but it's better to assume it's 8%. So estimated years in retirement. So you're gonna this is the problem. So now let's say you're 30 years old and you're going to work until 50. So once you retire at 50, let's say, how long will you live? 30 years? Not just 25. You'll probably live until 80, I think. 30 years, yeah. Okay, let's keep it at 25 first. Then otherwise it will be too depressing. So I'll keep it at 25. The average rate of interest expected from all asset classes now, that is for your investments before retirement. I am assuming this is like 9% post-tax. So this means that you're you're going to initially invest 60% in equity, 40% in fixed income. Then you will kind of taper it down. The return will come down. The tax will increase. Whatever. All that factored in. I'm going to assume that it's kind of about 9% after tax. Probably. Is it a long shot? Please recognize this is not return from equity. This is return from your entire portfolio, including your EPF or NPS, whatever, everything. Bit on the higher side, but 9%. Now, this is the most important number. How much can you increase your monthly investment year on year? I have set this at 9%. 10% would be better. Probably I'll set it at 10%. It may be difficult after a point, but initially it may be possible. I am assuming that you have about 3 lakhs. Is that 3 lakhs? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have assumed that you have 3 lakhs invested so far. Of course, you can enter your numbers, whatever you have. I'm just saying that you're just starting out, not much invested. So it's 3 lakhs. So for this 3 lakh, we will assume that 3 lakh will also, since it's part of your portfolio, this will also grow at 9%. Right? So those are the 10 inputs. And now is the final result. The monthly investment needed as a percentage of current expenses. So you need to invest every month for retirement for the next 20 years. 99.94, that's basically 100% of 40,000, which is 40,000. So you need to start investing today, this month, 40,000 rupees a month, which is exactly equal to the amount that your current expenses that will persist in retirement. And you need to increase this monthly investment year on year by 10%. So next year, 40,000 plus another 10%. Then another 10% of that amount, and so on, and so on, and so on. If you do that, you will be financially free and you will be able to beat or handle inflation at least after retirement for 25 years. So after 25 years, you should die. That's the rule. That's what Excel tells you. Excel has said that, so which means you should die by 75. Because you're 30 years old, you'll retire by 50 and you're only planning for 25. This is the essence of a retirement planning calculation. This is a very rough estimate. There are many ways in which you can modify it. The best starting point would be my robo-advisory template. I link it in the description box. You can download that. But this just gives you a ballpark. So ballpark, If you don't want to do any calculations, if your current expenses that will persist in retirement is X, your monthly amount required for retirement should be X, and you should at least try to, for as long as possible, increase this investment by 10% every year. Now let's play around with this. See what happens when you decrease inflation to 6%. Look at that 99% number and taking this to 6%. It drops almost by half. This is a very nice number. I mean, if I was a financial planner, I will, because I'm getting money from clients, I'll give them nice results and fool them. But who am I fooling? My inflation is not 6%. It's going to be 8% because they're going to be unexpected recurring expenses. So you cannot afford to have nice answers here. It has to be set back to 8%. Now look at the importance of this number, the annual increase in monthly investment that one can manage. I'm going to set it to 0 first. Look at the final result. That's 220%, 120% increase. If I keep investing only 40,000, if my current expenses is 40,000 and if I cannot manage to increase my monthly investment, then I have to invest something like 85,000 or so for retirement every month for the next 20 years, which is bizarre, right? Nobody can do this. That is the reason why you should increase your monthly investment every year or more frequently than that, as much as you can. Set it back to 10%. That's even that 100% is going to be tough for most people. The question is, why is it tough? Now there are many reasons for this. If you are running a EMI, home loan EMI, or maybe a car loan EMI, or maybe both, whatever. If you are running an EMI, if you cannot manage this 100% of X, your current monthly expenses, then okay, get rid of your EMIs. Then after that you may be able to catch up for it. As long as your job is reasonably stable, it's okay, it's not a bad deal. Maybe you are having other goals. Maybe you are having one child, 2 children, 3 children, whatever other goals and so on. You need to plan for them. So because of that, you are sacrificing a little bit of investment on your retirement. That also is fine because they're not going to be in school forever. Once they go to college and you spend on that college, they're on their way. Maybe you can help them get an education loan and then you can focus on your retirement. That's also not so bad. No problem. Then there's one more reason. You may be a frugal person in mindset, but because of current medical expenses, because of your family problems, some other issues, you may not be able to invest as much. That also is fine. Maybe it's not fine. What else can you do about it? Maybe with time things can change, or maybe your parents are aged, you know what I mean, and things will be different and you can catch up later. That also is fine. It's not like there's no need to blame yourself for it. That's what I mean by that's also fine. You don't need to blame yourself. That is the cards that you're being dealt with, and you have to play them. So that's okay. The problem is when your salary is low, your expenses are almost as much as your salary, and your salary does not have the potential to increase. You do not have the skills. Your job is not stable. Then it's a big problem. You need to address your expenses. And if these expenses are not mandatory expenses, these are expenses that you are basically indulging in because you want to enjoy life today, whatever that means, then it's a big problem. If you're not earning enough and your expenses are still high because not because you're indulging, but because they're high per se, then you'll have to think about an additional source of income. There are many ways to get additional sources of income. Focus on that. If you're indulging, reduce your indulgement. Those are all is there any other option? Am I leaving out anything else? Well, that's as far as my thinking takes me today. That's what I want to convey. First of all, do the simple retirement calculation. Find out how much you need to invest as a percentage of your current expenses. Ballpark thumb rule is if X is your monthly investment, monthly expenses that will persist in retirement, X should be your monthly investment for retirement, and increase this X at least 10% every year. That's the ballpark thumb rule. it will work fine without doing any detailed calculations. If you are not able to handle this, then you need to look at where you are in life, and if your position is bad because it's beyond circumstances beyond your control, well, do what you can, invest what you can, and hope for the best. Hope things will change, improve in future. But if it's something that you can control, if it is expenses that you can reduce, please reduce them. If it is income that needs to be enhanced, please work on that with great determination, especially if you're young. Plenty of options to get secondary sources of income today. It's not necessarily online. You can do small jobs and, learn, improve, enhance your skill sets, and then jump jobs, whatever. Many ways to do it. But please have a look at that. Look at what you can do with your life. And if you have any questions, let me know. Please do punch in your numbers using this calculator, and I'll be interested to know how happy or sad or depressed you were after using this calculator. Many people have said they are scared after using mine, but this is something that you need to. This is a necessary evil. I got scared. I told you in another video. I got emotional after looking at numbers such as this. So please do whatever you can in your power to invest as much as possible for your retirement. If it's beyond your control, don't blame yourself. If it is within your control, sometimes it is, then please do whatever you can. So I'll catch you in another video. Bye bye.